Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. And before we jump into the mock draft and the pick'em and predictions videos here today, we have an exciting announcement. For those of you who know, we've had this Justin Fields jersey giveaway going on the channel for a while, and we have a winner. We did a wheel to decide who won. We spun the wheel after putting in all of the eligible comments, subscribers, and everyone who had liked videos. We went through all that, put it in, and we finally found our winner. Our winner is Robert Lamison. I know he's a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. He's going to be winning this awesome Justin Fields jersey giveaway, but don't go yet off the video. We've got exciting news. We're going to be doing another jersey giveaway on the channel. You guys have absolutely killed it with the support. We love having you guys all as subscribers. You've been awesome, smashing the like button, leaving comments, and just really building up a great community. So we want to continue to push that forward here at Utility Sports. So in order for our next jersey giveaway, we want to know what player's current jersey you would like to be in the jersey giveaway. So go ahead, comment the player you would love to see in the jersey giveaway. For example, if you like a Tom Brady Buccaneers jersey, comment Tom Brady Buccaneers. Let us know what jersey you'd like. If someone's already commented the one you like, leave a thumbs up on that comment so we can see what jersey is the most popular option for our viewers. We want to know what jersey you guys would be interested in seeing. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the mock draft or pick them in predictions depending on which video you clicked on today. Again, thanks so much for all the support at Utility Sports. You guys are awesome. Hopefully you're enjoying all the content that we're bringing as well. And again, we just can't be more thankful for what you guys have done for us as we're building up this platform. Again, thanks so much, guys, and we'll catch you in the actual video. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. And in today's video, we're coming at you with our NFL Week 11 predictions and pick'em. This has been a series we've been doing on the channel. You guys have been absolutely killing it with the support. So go ahead, smash that like button. Also subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment of the very next NFL jersey you would like to see us give away. Or it could even be a college football jersey, an NBA jersey, whatever jersey you'd like us to give away next. Comment that down below. We've loved all the support. We want to give it back to you guys, pay it back, because you guys have been so awesome for us. Awesome. Let's kick it off with our Utility Sports pick'em here now. I'm 57-42. I gained a game on you this week. That's what I'm going to have to hang my hat on, because I've been looking up ahead of you on the highway the whole time. I've been in your rearview mirrors, 2 games back in now. You're at 59-40. I'm 57-42. Austin, how does it feel to be the pick'em wizard still at this point of the season?
I think I'm going to lose the lead, and that very well could come in this week. So let's jump right into it here.
With our Week 11 teams, our bye week team this week is the Los Angeles Rams, who of course have been in the news with Odell Beckham Jr. We're recording this before the Sunday night matchups too, so we haven't yet seen Odell Beckham Jr. play for the LA Rams. If you're watching this the day it comes out, that Monday, he's making his debut against the San Francisco 49ers. That's going to be a must-watch from Week 10. And then also the Denver Broncos are on bye Week 11. I think that's going to be a really good calibration week for that team as well. They're in need of some calibration. Locks for the week, Austin, you opted for the New England Patriots over the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, we're going to get into these games a little bit later on. Then I opted for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the New York Giants. I think both of these games here make a lot of sense as locks. We both went with 2 of Tom Brady's teams, of course, historically the New England Patriots, and now currently the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then for the upsets, I went with your Jacksonville Jaguars over the San Francisco 49ers. What's your early thoughts on that one, Austin? How do you feel about my upset pick here?
Just wrong, but this is where I feel a little bit better about our pick'em.
Yeah, this is where the Wizard feels like he's going to gain that game back on me again. He went with the Eagles over the Saints as his upset. We'll see what my thoughts were on that game as well as we get throughout this video. Again, hopefully you guys are enjoying as we go through this. If you guys disagree with us, leave a comment. Let us know where you think we got it wrong. Of course, we're not perfect throughout this mock process, going through the predictions, who we're thinking is going to win, lose, and our reasoning why. We're also going to be doing a few against the spread things in terms of guessing over-unders for players. We mostly do pick them here, though, in terms of money line predictions. So that's part of the reasoning here. Austin, Thursday Night Football, here is your lock game. Patriots at the Atlanta Falcons, 6-4 New England. Just had a massive win this week. Mac Jones looked really, really good against the Cleveland Browns, and the Falcons looked really, really bad against the Dallas Cowboys. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that the Patriots walk away with this one?
I'm 9 out of 10. I feel confident. I think there's a small chance that Atlanta does come out in this one. I like the Patriots in this game because Atlanta is really starving at receiver. J.C. Jackson is really going to lock down Russell Gage or whoever they really try to target on the outside. Maybe they try to move Kyle Pitts outside, get a little creative with him. Cordell Patterson's going to be the X factor in this game if he can really make a huge impact. Maybe that changes the overall complexion of the game. However, I think it's going to be New England throughout this entire game. If Mac Jones plays at least 80% of how he played this week, they for sure come out with a win.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Cordell Patterson there because he's going to be the key to the game for Atlanta. I was going to mention him before you beat me to it because he's really going to be that speed factor of the backfield, catching passes. We know New England likes to play that more mid-2000 style thumping linebacker play. They're heavy across the middle of that defense. If Cordell Patterson can catch and run a lot of footballs, Atlanta has a chance. However, I feel confident New England walks away with this one as well. Then we move into our Sunday slate. Again, another great collection of games this week. We got some really close ones, interdivision matchups, and a lot of fun stuff to look at, starting here with the Ravens at the Bears. Of course, tale of two stories at this point. Ravens 6-3, Bears 3-6. Justin Fields, a little up and down as a rookie. How good do you feel about Justin Fields so far this season? And then why do you have the Ravens winning this one?
He's had some big flashes in his debut so far in his career. I think the processing, which I had noted during the pre-draft process, was going to be a little bit of an issue. Getting to that second and third read was going to be key. Struggles a little bit with that, like all the other rookie quarterbacks have been so far. But I do think that the Ravens come out on this one. I know they are in Chicago for this game. However, I'd like Baltimore. I think they're really going to gash them in the run game. I think there's a couple of key factors in this one is how well up the middle can Chicago hold up. I think that's the big key in all of that. And really, what can Baltimore get out of their collection of running backs?
Yeah, I have question marks about what Chicago is going to have offensively passing the football this game. I think the Ravens are going to get after Justin Fields pretty quickly, and I think that the Ravens cornerbacks are meant to deal with what Chicago's offering offensively. I think it's just going to be tough for the Bears to get anything going offensively, and I see the Ravens being able to control time of possession and control the line of scrimmage, two key things you want to do every single week trying to win football games. Moving into our next matchup, we got an NFC North matchup here, and it's a really, really good one. I don't think the records really indicate how good these two teams are. The Packers at 8-2, of course, everyone knows how good they are. They just shut out the Seattle Seahawks, and they're going into US Bank Stadium. They're in Minnesota to face the 4-5 Vikings, and I think the Vikings could easily be a team that we'd look at as maybe 7-2 or at least 6-3 had they closed out some of the games they could have this year. You opted for Green Bay here, Austin. I went with the Vikings at home. My key reasoning is I think that the Vikings are going to defend their home field in this interdivision matchup. I think home field advantage is huge in every interdivision game, and I think the Vikings are going to play really, really tight with Green Bay. I see this being a one-score game, maybe a 3-point win for Minnesota, maybe a 7-point win. I haven't fully decided. What's your thoughts on Green Bay here?
I think Green Bay is definitely going to exploit Minnesota's corners. They definitely have had issues on the boundaries. Minnesota has had a ton of issues with that. Devontae Adams is going to have a monster game. But I think on the flip side, Justin Jefferson could have an equally great game, or Adam Thielen. It really depends on, how they're really going to be able to exploit these Green Bay corners. I think one of them will have a big game. I don't think both of them will, but I think Devontae Adams is going to be the biggest winner of this game.
For me, I'm for clarity's sake, I want to be completely upfront and honest with you guys. I think the Packers are a better team. I think they have a better roster. But for me, I think the key this week, Clint Kubiak, does he open up the offense more than he's done this year? Vikings fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about when you're talking about a third and long check down throw, okay? Kirk Cousins hasn't been turning over the football this year, but that's a reason why. Because they've been throwing the ball short. They've been playing fairly conservative when they have two really good wide receivers. They need to open up the play call against Green Bay here. I think they do it this week, get the win. It's going to be a really good matchup, though. Colts at Bills here, 5-5 Indianapolis. They've started to right a lot of those wrongs that they had at the start of the season. Jonathan Taylor's been playing great football. Carson Wentz has been competitive when he's been in there. And then the Bills at 6-3 just thrashed my New York Jets this past weekend. Don't really want to spend too much time talking about that game, but it got ugly pretty quick, Austin. I think the Bills are probably just the superior roster here coming in, playing at home in this one. How tough is it going to be for Indianapolis to beat Buffalo?
Indianapolis needs to get a little healthy. I know Darius Leonard was banged up in the game against Jacksonville. Xavier Rhodes was out. They have to get healthy before this game. But I think Buffalo all of a sudden just hit their stride. They went from an all-time low of where they were at this season against Jacksonville to having a dominant performance against the New York Jets. I think that they will come back. They will once again have a great offensive performance at home against a playoff caliber team.
Most definitely. And I think this most recent game was actually a really big game in terms of momentum for Buffalo, specifically Stephon Diggs. Just his second 100-yard game of the season, had a touchdown against the New York Jets. And I think he's going to try and ride on some of that success against this Colts secondary. Look for him to get involved early and often. I think Brian Daboll's going to drop a lot of play calls for him to get involved. And I think a key thing, not only for this game for Buffalo, but for the rest of the season, is sustaining that Stephon Diggs success to try and get back to where they were last year and hopefully even move further. Next game, we got the 0-8-1 Detroit Lions. Yes, we've had our first tie in the NFL. The Lions versus the Ben Roethlisberger-less Steelers this past week tied, which kind of throws a little bit of wrench into everything with their 0-8-1 record. Browns at 5-5. They've not been playing good football. Of course, Baker Mayfield did go out with a knee injury in this past one. However, we still both opted for the Browns. Is this more of a story of how bad the Lions are compared to how good the Browns are, Austin?
Yeah, potentially another winnable game for the Detroit Lions, but I think once again, they're going to struggle. I mean, we've seen the issues of the front seven, but when you have a potent running game like Cleveland has, they're going to be able to control possession. It's going to really wear down this Detroit Lion defense. That's why I do like the Browns in it, whether it's Keenum or if it's Baker Mayfield.
I remember the start of the year, Austin, we had a lot of Detroit Lions fans in our comment section telling us how they didn't need a quarterback. Newsflash, after week 10 this week, Jared Goff at halftime against Pittsburgh was 4 of 8 with 11 passing yards. So the quarterback situation, definitely a little bit of a question mark there for Detroit. We'll see how they address that for the future. However, for this one, I got Cleveland walking away with the W. Washington at Carolina, another good matchup here. Washington, I think one of the better 3-6 teams in football. I just think they've underperformed what their roster is. Of course, Chase Young did go down with an injury today, though. And then the Panthers at 5-5, kind of figuring some things out maybe. I think Cam Newton is a good signing for them, especially with Sam Darnold out right now. We both opted for the Panthers. How key is Cam Newton's legs going to be against his former head coach, Ron Rivera?
Yeah, I think this is a great matchup. I think it's going to be a very close game. The reason I give the edge to the Panthers, A, they're at home. B, this whole Cam Newton momentum thing, him being back in town, there's a different buzz, there's a different feeling to this team, and we've seen it against Arizona this week. I like the Panthers a lot. I think Cam Newton's going to have a big game on the ground, but really it's going to come down to Washington football team really containing him.
Right, I think Cam Newton is a big storyline for this Carolina Panther football team because you're looking not only at production, he didn't have the most yards today. He didn't even play that much, honestly, with PJ Walker being the starter today. But when he was in, the Panthers were making plays. He threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. He just brings a different vibe, a different element to that offense that they've been missing and that they've been needing. And I think the Panthers are better with him there. I see them moving to 6-5 after this week. Then we have Texans at Titans, an AFC South matchup, and pretty much a tale of two cities yet again here. Houston, 1-8 on the year, and a fair share of struggles, whereas the Titans are 8-2. Had another nice win over the New Orleans Saints today. Ended up holding the Saints out of the end zone on a 2-point conversion at the end of that one. A really good matchup and a really good game that we got to see today, Austin. We both picked the Titans here, and I'm going to give you an over-under. 16.5 points, Austin. Do the Titans cover plus 16.5?
I think they do. I think Tennessee is going to absolutely gash the Texans. I think it's really actually going to come through the air in this one. The Texans just have struggled. They've struggled mightily. It's tough to watch this team week in, week out. The thing is, they're not trying to really compete right now, so that's not a huge issue. But I mean, for Tennessee, they're starting to click on all cylinders. I think they're going to keep adjusting with Derrick Henry out of the lineup. They have to make some changes, some key focus areas. Obviously, is throwing the football a little more. A.J. Brown's going to have to be a bigger part of that moving forward.
Right, the Titans are looking to move to 9-2. They're trying to be the team in the AFC to lock up that first-round wildcard bye. That'll be huge for them if they're able to do that. Maybe give you another week to see if Derrick Henry can possibly return for the playoffs. There's a lot of storylines yet to follow for Tennessee. I think this is a game that they have to come in, set the tone early. I see them winning by 17-plus points as well. 49ers at Jaguars here, Austin. We got a little bit of a difference of opinion here. You tend to not pick with your own Jacksonville Jaguars. They're coming in at 2-7, so you'd be right 7 out of 9 times so far if that was the case. You're going with the 49ers, who are 3-5. I'm going with your Jags. Austin, break down why the 49ers are going to beat Jacksonville in this one.
I think that San Francisco is going to wear down Jacksonville, even in the run game. Jacksonville, however, I will give them some credit. This is the best their defense has played the last couple of weeks. They're seeing a little bit of more energy. The secondary is playing a lot better. Shaq Griffin's been great. in those last two games. Tyson Campbell came on a little bit more today, showing a little more promise. I was very, very nervous the first couple of weeks, coming out a little bit more. But I think the 49ers definitely are going to wear them down. And where it's really going to be won is in the trenches. And the 49ers are going to sack Lawrence probably 6 times, or maybe even. That's a bold assumption, but they're going to get after him, and they're going to make it really, really tough on him all day long.
6 sacks is a really, really big prediction there. That is a huge gamble, Austin. I think that the Jaguars win this one. The only caution or concern I have is Deebo Samuel across the middle when he's coming across some of those play action routes where he likes to wheel across, make some get some run after the catch. Jacksonville tends to struggle across the middle, especially this season. They've had some of their issues after moving on from certain players. I think that if they want to win, they're going to have to contain him. Shaq Griffin's play is going to be huge on Deebo Samuel. I hope that they're able to contain him. I see Jacksonville winning this one narrowly. Moving into our next matchup, we got my New York Jets here at 2-7, defending MetLife against the 3-7 Dolphins in an AFC East matchup. Austin, we both opted for the Dolphins, who are on a 2-game win streak. Do we see them move into 4-7, and how confident are you in them in this one?
Yeah, I was very close to picking the Jets, but after their last performance, I have a little bit less confidence. Mike White did not play well at all in that game, threw 4 interceptions, and the Jets are kind of reeling right now offensively, trying to figure out their identity. And for the Miami Dolphins, maybe this is the momentum they had or that they really needed. We saw that last year. Tough start, and then they ended up finishing out the year on a very, very positive note. So maybe this team's finally coming together, but they definitely look better than how they started.
The Dolphins are just a better team than the New York Jets, and I'm a New York Jets fan, so I can say that. And also, can we just talk about real quickly how mad Jets fans should be about the Joe Flacco trade? We gave up a pick the same round as Gardner Minshew. I know this is a few weeks ago, but just after 3 weeks of no Zach Wilson, we've seen Mike White, Josh Johnson, and Mike White. That is ridiculous. You trade for Joe Flacco, give up a decent asset in a 6th-round pick to bring him in. He's supposed to be the bridge starter for those few weeks, and he doesn't even play. That's really frustrating to me. I'm sure Jets fans can echo that same frustration. I don't know why you give up an asset for someone like Joe Flacco. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. That's what they did, and I just see it as a waste. 2-7, I see them moving to 2-8. Saints at Eagles here. The Saints, of course, been competitive, haven't won some of those games that they've been competitive in, like today, for example, against the Tennessee Titans. But Trevor Siemian, he's been making some throws. He's been a starter in this league before. And then we have the Eagles at 4-6. I think the key thing here is they are in Philadelphia. I opted for them at home at 4-6. I think they moved to 5-6. They found their groove a little bit as of late. Austin, what are the Eagles doing so well right now?
Yeah, well, Devontae Smith has really come on, especially this week. He had 2 touchdowns. The Philadelphia Eagles are controlling the line of scrimmage like they've been known to do, especially their defensive line's getting after it a little bit more. The secondary is playing better than it had at the start of the season. The Eagles are, quote, rolling, if that's what you want to call it. They look a lot better. I think that this team should provide a very, very good game against the New Orleans Saints. They're going to get after Trevor Siemian or Taysom Hill, whoever is the starter. I like the Eagles mainly because they are at home, like you had just said.
Eagles fans, you got quite a bit to be excited about for this matchup, but also for the future. We have an NFL mock draft coming out today as well, Monday. Make sure you go check it out. You guys have 3 picks in the top 15, Eagles fans. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff for you to see in that video on about how your team could become a dynasty down the road. Bengals at Raiders here, Austin. Bengals at 5-4, and then the Raiders 5-3 again before Sunday Night Football against their matchup with the Chiefs. I think we both picked the Chiefs in that matchup against Las Vegas, but that AFC West is a super tight race right now, and we both opted against Las Vegas. And I really like to watch the Raiders play. I think they got a lot of nice pieces on their team. However, the Bengals just kind of a little bit different. Damon Arnett got released by the Raiders a few days ago, and I think Jamar Chase is really going to be the player to watch in this one. I think he's going to have a huge day against Las Vegas' secondary, and I think Joe Burrow, if he can be kept upright all day long, the Bengals have just too much offensive firepower. CJ Uzomah probably catches a touchdown in this one as well up the middle. What's your thoughts on Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase is going to have a big game. I also think Joe Mixon could have a very, very nice 100-yard day as well. And like you had mentioned, the Raiders have been playing better football, than we had expected them to. In this season, we did not give them that high of expectations on this channel. However, they've definitely outperformed our expectations. I think Cincinnati's a little better. I think they could have a huge game offensively.
Yeah, I think Vegas just needs a little bit more consistency at some key position areas. And I think once they get there, they could become a team that we look at as being a 10, maybe 11 win team down the road. But at this point, I see them moving to 5-4 probably tonight after that Chiefs game, and then 5-5 after this game with the Bengals. Bengals looking to move to 6-4 and keep their playoff hopes alive in a very tough AFC North. Cowboys at Chiefs here on the topic of the Chiefs. Of course, they're looking to move to 6-4 tonight if they do beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and then they're trying to look to move to 7-4 if they get that done as well. Cowboys are 7-2 right now, and they're playing really, really good football. And they stepped on the Atlanta Falcons throats today. Of course, dropped the game 2 weeks ago and came back with vengeance and really took care of Atlanta. Austin, the Cowboys going into Arrowhead, though, that's a tough place to play. Is that a key reason why you went with the Chiefs here?
That's the main reason I went there. I think Arrowhead's going to be rocking. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere in the building. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a big game. Very well, or very possible that Trayvon Diggs ends up getting an interception off of him, just because that's been the recent trend. I think the Cowboys are definitely going to gash the Chiefs in the running game. That's the big key for Dallas to winning. Maybe that's why you picked them, because the Chiefs defense has been very, very poor in that run defense. But I think Kansas City is going to be locked in offensively and get the win.
Yeah, I think a key thing here for me with picking Dallas is not only how they attack Kansas City in the run game, but also how they utilize the team game as well to get some of their players out involved in space. For example, Ezekiel Elliott and also Tony Pollard. I think those two guys have to combine for about 150 yards in this one to win this game, and I think it's very possible. They have a lot of talent. They've been having a really successful season, those two combined, and I think Dak Prescott is going to have to lean on those two a little bit in this one. Try and keep Kansas City's pass rush at home a little bit. I know they like to blitz quite a bit, put their guys out in man-to-man coverage. Best way to beat that is with that screen game. Dallas has the pieces to do that. They just have to execute properly on Sunday. Moving into our next one, we got the Cardinals at Seahawks here, Austin. Another difference in opinion here from us, and I'm probably going with the really unpopular opinion here in America. I'm picking the 3-6 Seahawks at home at CenturyLink Field. I think that the Seahawks are one of the toughest places to play in their home stadium. The 12s come out every single weekend. They're loud, they're obnoxious, they're tough to deal with. And the Cardinals right now, Kyler Murray hasn't been playing, DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been playing. I think maybe the Cardinals come back, show a little bit of rust in a very tough environment to play. Russell Wilson's going to come back motivated after getting shut out for the first time in his career. I think the Seahawks try and take it to the Cardinals, who are also motivated after their loss this week, Austin.
Yeah, I definitely think the Kyler Murray injury plays into it. And looking at this game, this very well could be a trap game for the Cardinals and for people picking. But, at the same time, I do feel confident in this Cardinals team. When Kyler's playing, they are so good. It's very, very tough to beat. And I don't like Seattle's secondary at all. I think that's going to be exploited all day long. I like the Arizona Cardinals in this one.
A lot hinges on the health. It seemed like Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins could have played in Week 10, didn't quite get there in time. We're out for Week 10, probably going to play in Week 11. That's going to be a key part for this matchup. Moving into our Sunday Night Football matchup, we got a pretty fun one here. The 5-3-1 Steelers, who've just been up and down this year, especially with that quarterback play, versus the 5-4 Chargers. And when you hear that record for the Chargers, you'd probably think, wow, they're not having as good of a season as it seems like. We were talking about that a little bit earlier today off camera, Austin. A lot of things have seemingly gone right for the Chargers this year. Mike Williams has really come out in a big way this season. Justin Herbert's backed up his rookie season with a very nice sophomore campaign so far. Asante Samuel Jr. is looking like a really good pick. Rashawn Slater started the year off playing really well, and yet they're only 5-4 after the loss to the Vikings. We both opted for the Chargers. What's your thoughts on them as a whole this season?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because they dropped a couple of games that you felt they definitely should have won. However, the Chargers, they're going to get healthy going into next week. I do like this team. I think Austin Eckler is going to provide a lot of issues for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm a little worried about Pittsburgh offensively. What are they? They've had a couple of bounce back weeks here where they played a little better offensively, but we saw in this past week, with Mason Rudolph, they didn't look great. They tied with the Detroit Lions. They probably felt that they should have still won that game, even though they didn't have Big Ben. But I do like the Chargers in this one. I think they have more firepower offensively, and they're going to be hopefully opportunistic against Big Ben, get a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key thing here. Brandon Staley's defense is going to have to make some plays. I count on them doing that. I see them moving to 6-4. Then our Monday night matchup, a game where I think that the NFL game schedulers love to give us the New York Giants on primetime. We see them on primetime all the time. It feels like they're 3-6 versus the 6-3 Buccaneers. And I see Tampa Bay cruising in this one. I'm looking at a 10-13 point win. I think Daniel Jones has one or two costly turnovers in this one that kind of sways the game at key pivotal moments. And Tom Brady's just not going to lose 2 weeks in a row. I just don't see that happening. They got surprised and upset by the Washington football team this past week. I just don't see it happening. I think the Buccaneers move to 7-3.
I agree completely. I think Tom Brady's going to be super motivated to head into this week on a primetime game. He's going to have a humongous game. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans are all, I feel like one of them is really going to go off in this one. I think the Tampa Bay pass rush is going to be way too much for Daniel Jones to handle. He's going to be a little overwhelmed, really leading to some big-time turnovers in this one. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be a pretty big margin of victory.
All right, Austin, final question of the video here. Is Daniel Jones the week 1 starter next season for the New York Giants?
I think he is the week 1 starter. Is that something I would do? No, but I think that's what the New York Giants are going to do. They're going to give him one more year to really prove it. It depends on how he finishes the year, obviously, but I think they're going to give him another chance heading into next year.
Giants fans, let us know in the comment section what you would do with Daniel Jones. I know he's losing some support, but there's also a lot of Giants fans out there that still really love him as well. I think there's a lot of division on how they feel about him. And again, guys, thanks so much for watching. We really do appreciate everything you bring here at Utility Sports. You guys are an awesome fan base. You bring in some great thoughts in our community and some great comments as well. We know we don't get everything right, so we do appreciate when you guys give us your thoughts, your insights, your opinions. It's a wonderful collaboration space. Thank you again so much for watching. Subscribe and like if you're new, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.